previously on the Otherplace.
Well, what I'm here about is looking for a guy named Belmin. Have you heard of a fellow named Belmin?
Oh, my old friend Belmin. I'm afraid you've just missed him.
And how would I go about finding him, if you don't mind?
Well, as far as I know, they've taken his body to the constable.
Cælum thinks, not again. He goes into sort of a trance state, searching the area, searching the sky, the air, in kind of vague, cloudy, abstract ways. He's seeing these patterns connect. He's seeing this kind of grid unfold, the geometry of this town, the geometry of the objects in relation to the town and to these places. This all seems very intentional. I'm going to say that the amethyst pointing east is kind of rocking back and forth, almost like a compass. He knows that the east, this must be the important place to be, and Belmin's mansion is where he needs to head. He grabs the amethyst, just straightens up his gear, tightens his belt, and he's gonna leave out into the night, into the rain, on his way to Belmin's.
The doors slowly swing open by themselves with a very loud creak.
Well, that was loud. Let's keep moving.
So you head into this space. Did you take 2 strain?
Oh, the strain. The strain of it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you head into this space. This is the main entryway. All right, looking around, there is a sort of a double staircase that goes up and onto sort of a balcony kind of thing. And in between the staircase, there's a large fireplace that is dark currently. There are doors that go off to your left and right, and you can't see them, but you can assume that there are doors under those stairways as well that go off to the back of the building, because you saw this building and it's fairly large. Above the fireplace, there is a taxidermied beast from the Westlands that you've only heard about. You've never actually seen one. It's large and shaggy with 4 large horns that circle its head. And right in the center of this space, you see a large red stain on the floor.
That was in the center of this room? Well, I presume that is the location of the murder. Let me get a closer look.
You want to take a closer look at the stain? So the floorboards are wooden, and it looks like some of the red is crusted in the cracks. It's definitely blood. It's definitely dry.
He inspects the blood, understands what it looks like. He's gonna glance around the room to see if there's any other traces of blood anywhere else.
Perception.
And I will do a perception.
With a setback because of the darkness in here.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
I've got 2 dark side points. I'm going to flip 1. It's going to be 1 red.
1 red with a setback? Mm-hmm. I got 2 success and 2 threat.
Okay. There's a crash of thunder, and the room is quickly brightened by lightning outside. You notice on the large mantelpiece above the fireplace that there's the smallest hint of red.
Those guys down at the the constellariat?
The constable? The constabulary?
The constabulary. How could they have missed this? 1 drop of blood's all it takes to unveil the true story. So he's inspecting the blood. Mm-hmm. Just a drop?
Yeah. So you make your way back to the mantle. You're almost underneath the staircases now, and you do see that there are more doors that go into other rooms of this house. Yeah, so it's just maybe a hand touched that spot.
Any fingerprints?
Maybe.
Well, if only we had invented a way to figure out fingerprints. Maybe a few more centuries, or 1 incredibly talented scholar. Not today. So whoever killed him was in this room, touched this mantle. There's gotta be some other evidence. Well, maybe I'll find more evidence as I look for The artifact. Where would Belmin have kept something valuable to him? Well, that's hard to say until I look around, I guess.
So you are on the right side of that fireplace. Directly under that right set of stairs, there is another room. It looks like it's got a large, long table with lots of chairs around it. As you walked through that space, you saw the other room to the right. The door was closed. The one to the left, the door was closed. But the one under the other staircase, the door was open. But you didn't really take a good look in there yet.
This kind of map stuff really confuses me without a visual,
Yeah.
actually.
So there's a main room.
Mm-hmm.
To the right,
I get that.
door's closed.
Okay.
To the top right, maybe a dining room.
Okay.
To the top left, door's open. You haven't checked that out. To the bottom left, door's closed. And there's 2 stairs going up.
I get it. Okay. I say you always start at the top and work your way down. And you always start at the left. You work right, and you work in a circle. So we're starting at the top left.
On the first floor or on the second floor?
On the second floor, top down.
Okay.
That's the Cælum way.
So you head up the left set of stairs. I just need to figure this out for myself. Okay, so you head up the left set of stairs. It looks like there is a hallway at the center, sort of above and behind the fireplace. There appear to be 4 more large rooms here.
So there's a hallway with a fireplace and 4 more large rooms branching off of this hallway?
Yeah. So there's a little balcony that you're on right now after climbing the stairs. The chimney from the fireplace below sort of goes right through the balcony, sort of creating a stone pillar, and there's a hallway behind it. There are a couple doorways in that hallway. 3 doors to be specific.
Okay.
There's also a room on the left and a room on the right.
Is there anything like supernatural happening in this mansion? And is there any way that I can see or check this kind of stuff?
I would say that's interesting.
Like, can I do a divine magic skill to like enhance my sight or something?
Yes.
I don't really need to take more strain, but I mean, what the heck? Just go for it.
Yeah, so that would be an augment. So it's kind of tricky. There's no exact rule for it. So what I would like to do is a divine perception check. So let's do a divine check using your cunning.
Okay. Interesting. So that is going to be 2 yellow. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be... I'd say since this is not a normal thing to do, let's make the difficulty hard. It's going to be 3 purples.
1 threat.
All right, so you take your 2 strain for doing the magic. And you've got that amethyst in your pocket. You feel it sort of vibrating as you tap into your magic. And that's it. This place is pretty quiet, besides the heavy rain pattering on the windows and the distant thunder as the thunder portion of the storm moves away from you off into the sea.
Ugh, too many distractions to do magic like this. He takes the amethyst out of his pocket and holds it in the palm of his hand to inspect the vibrations for scientific purposes.
In your hand, it is just sort of vibrating.
He's gonna place it on the ground and see if there's any difference.
On the ground, without the friction of your palm, it vibrates, and instead of like in your room, it was pointing east. It's going in circles now.
Circles. What could it mean? Are we too close to the source? Are we just where we need to be? Let me try one more thing.
So you're still just at the top of this landing, right? You haven't gone into any of these rooms.
No, he's still just at the top of the landing.
Okay.
He's gonna walk towards the left, just towards the closest corner in the room, and he just puts it in the corner just to see if if there's a relationship between the corner and its activity.
Yeah, you place it in the corner, and it is still sort of spinning, but it is spinning heavier towards the place where the murder happened, if that makes sense. It lingers in that direction a little bit more.
Interesting. He puts it back in his pocket. He's going to just head down the left corridor. He's not certain that this is... He's mostly curious about that passageway behind the chimney of the fireplace.
Yeah.
Because that's such a central location, but he wants to do like a very thorough job combing this mansion. So he goes down the left.
You open the left door and enter a bedroom. It smells like linseed oil and mineral spirits.
Linseed oil. Odd.
There's a large bed, wooden, nice, fancier than you could afford. A dresser.
Must be nice.
A real mirror and a large portrait on the wall.
Inspects the portrait.
It is a portrait of Belmin.
What a narcissist.
It's big.
Of course it is. He just kind of looks around on the surfaces of some dressers. Any objects of interest?
This room looks like nobody's ever lived in. And
Opens a drawer.
It looks older. It looks like it's an original portion of the house. You know, because they were just building on it. The drawers are empty.
Looks under the bed.
There's nothing under there. Not even any dust.
Throws the blankets and sheets off of the bed.
Nothing.
Just as I thought. Nothing. He leaves this room.
Uh-huh.
Heads towards the central room behind the chimney on the second floor.
Okay, so in that hallway, there's a room to the left, a room to the right, and a room straight ahead.
He always goes left and works his way around systematically.
So you open the door, and...
To the left.
Yep, to the left. And it smells like mineral spirits and linseed oil in here.
Ugh, it's awful.
There's a large
poisonous.
4-poster bed that looks like it's more than you could afford. There's a dresser with nothing on it. There's a mirror, and there's a large painting of Belmin.
I think Belmin might be weird. Why would he need 2 bedrooms? Are there 2 Belmins? Anyway, anything... Looks on the surface of the dresser, opens the dresser.
Nothing and empty.
Looks in the mirror.
Perception. Average. Perception easy, if you haven't already rolled it.
Haven't. Man, rolls. 1 advantage.
Okay, so the mirror has a long vertical crack. What's your advantage?
Mirror has a crack. Oh, it lightning outside. Did you hear that?
Yep. The storm. A new portion of the storm with thunder and lightning has come back.
I cannot think of an advantage.
Okay.
I'm going to say that he sees the mirror, he sees the crack, lightning cracks across the sky, illuminating the room.
Mm-hmm. And
he's something about this mirror, he can't put his finger on it, but his advantage is that he feels strange.
He feels like he's being watched.
Good enough. He's gonna leave this room.
Okay.
He doesn't like feeling watched.
Yeah. And you go into the next room.
Into the central corridor.
And the central room.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay. This room is different. It's still old construction, but it looks like a study. And there are things in this room. There's a desk. There are some magnifying glasses and things similar to that magnifying device that you had in your room. There are old scrolls, but pretty much what is covering all the surfaces is paper. You don't see any objects.
Something just occurred to him.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying old?
Yeah?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, Reynard said that they had just finished up construction on his house.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't seen any construction.
Is there dust?
No. It seems like Belmin was very clean.
Okay.
So you're in this space that looks like a study. All the surfaces are covered in scrolls and old papers. Other than that, it is very clean. Large windows look out onto the ocean over the cliff, where you can see the storm coming back in, lightning striking in the distance.
Belmin's office. These papers will definitely have some info about the artifact. Insight into Belmin's personal life. Can I spend like a little while looking through these papers?
Yeah, so a lot of them are very old. You see that same symbol more than once. Some of them look like they're in different languages. One word keeps coming up over and over again. Otherplace.
What could this other place have been? What was Belmin referring to? Or do I know anything about the other place?
Give me a lore check
My lore's pretty good.
Yeah. I want to make it hard, though.
Okay.
With a setback, because it's like not... It is something you would have been actively not taught at the Iron Tower.
Okay. When it doesn't matter... When it doesn't matter that much, I can succeed. I got a success with an advantage.
Okay, so with a success and an advantage, I think that you are aware of the idea of the Otherplace as a place, like a world between worlds, a place that can connect places. Does that seem good enough for a success?
Yeah. I think,
I know you know what it is.
Well, I think that Cælum, I think that at the end of this game, I want to create a new knowledge skill, which I think exists in the books, but knowledge forbidden.
Okay.
Which would be knowledge about things like the Otherplace.
Okay.
And I think that this is a topic that interests him, but he also doesn't believe in it.
Okay.
Because it's all theoretical.
Yeah.
So he knows about it, but he's just like, yeah, just made up nonsense. Stories. What? There's nothing to this. But he definitely has an interest in this. And this symbol seems to be at the center of all of it. This doorway.
You notice variations on the symbol too. So the one that you had seen on that totem had a vertical strike through it, but a lot of them have a vertical strike and a horizontal strike through them. What do you want for your advantage?
My advantage is that there's too much for me to read here. I don't want to spend the next 6 hours reading his materials. Mm-hmm. There is a small journal with that has some of this info compiled in it.
Okay.
And I'm taking it with me.
Okay.
It's like notebook sized. It's just got a lot more kind of field notes sort of stuff. Okay. And he takes it and slips it into his bag.
Yeah.
Small, like, hip bag.
You see on the first page is that a very similar drawing of the statue, the little totem.
This is going to take some time to comb over and decode. I don't have time right now, and it's super, super dark. I'm going to keep exploring.
All right.
So I'm going to leave this room, and I'm going to head to the room. He always goes to the left.
Yeah.
This is his thing.
That's how you get out of a maze. So he goes into the room directly across from the other bedroom.
Yes, that I already went in.
Yeah. And you open the door, and it is exactly the same as the one across the hall, except backwards.
It's backward. Why would you make it backwards? Why not make it symmetrical?
The mirror has a similar vertical crack in it, but it also has a horizontal crack. And I would like you...
Horizontal crack.
I'd like you to make an easy perception check with a boost because of reasons.
We're getting emergency flood warnings here.
Cool.
Yeah. It starts to rain even harder outside in bulk.
You hear some sort of like hand crank siren from the constable's office.
What was the check you wanted me to make?
An easy perception, 1 purple with a boost because reasons.
Yeah, I think I get it. I think if someone's listening to this, they're like, do you get it? I got 2 successes with an advantage.
So you are attuned to the movements of the air as the magician that you are, and you feel a slight breeze, and you notice the painting on the wall flap a little bit. You also notice that the painting, though it is of Belmin, looks worse. Like, he looks worse. He looks sick. And then thinking back at it, this may be like a progression.
Spooky. Huh. I was curious about the mirror. I figured maybe horizontal, vertical, crisscrossing, cracks, doorways. He's just gonna kind of inspect the mirror and the crack.
It looks like it was cracked with some sort of impact to the center, but you don't see any blood or anything.
Well, this is odd. I'm gonna try something. Just a quick test, academically. He punches the mirror.
It's a mirror.
Does it crack more?
It does, yeah.
Okay. No surprises there.
There are 3 more cracks going up the 3 different corners.
He goes across the hall to inspect the mirror across the hall.
It still has the single crack.
There's no such thing as a supernatural, and that proves it. Thought it might crack. Nope. Check out that painting, the spooky one.
As you turn to leave that room, you hear a slow crack, like heavy ice cracking as it settles in winter.
Where's the cracking coming from?
The room that you just left, with the mirror that only had a single crack in it.
Turns around to inspect just to look into the room.
Cracks are spreading from the center, slowly, towards the edges. But not the vertical crack, or the horizontal crack, just the other ones that you made.
All right. Supernatural is real, and I'm in a house that is a mere universe. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the painting. He heads back towards the sickly portrait of Belmin.
It is freshly painted. It's got a very large, gilded, ornate frame, and it looks like it's very heavy. It's large enough, it's like a full body, feet and all. Quick fact, did you know that back when portrait painting was like a major thing for rich people, they would charge you based on how many limbs you have in the painting, and that's where the phrase, it'll cost you an arm and a leg, came from.
That's interesting.
This cost him 2 arms and 2 legs. It's sort of leaning against the wall. It's that big that it's not really hanging there.
Wow. So he walks up to it, trying to decipher where this kind of breeze is coming from.
It's coming from behind that painting.
Well, doesn't take a detective to figure that out.
Just a scholar.
Just a scholar. And a raging storm. Probably the source. He kind of lifts it with one arm, peeks behind it to see if he can see a hole or an opening.
Yes, there's a passageway.
He's just gonna not take it off of the wall. He's gonna try and just
squeeze in.
And squeeze in.
Okay, you do it, and you are in a very dark passageway. The little light that is coming in from the windows of that room, it seems like it's gonna curve a little bit.
It's gonna curve?
The passageway is gonna curve off to the right.
I see. He debates. Guess he didn't take his traveling bag with him, so he does not have any torches. So he just forges forward. You slowly. How tall? Like, is he on like his hands and knees?
No, it is tall enough to walk.
Okay.
And just wide enough that you don't have to do it sideways.
So he's got his hands on each wall. He's feeling his way through the dark. There's just enough light that he can kind of see that he's just heading the right direction. So
he's heading off, following the curve to the right. I need a vigilance check, and it's gonna be hard.
Vigilance, huh? Yeah, my vigilance is not good.
So it's 3 purple.
Okay. And the results are not good. It would be really bad if I had been confusing the threat and failure symbols for Genesys this whole time.
Have you?
Maybe? No, I don't think so.
X's are failures.
Okay, I've been doing this correctly.
Okay.
Just FYI. I got 2 failures and 1 threat.
Okay. You fail to notice the stairway until you have put a foot out into nowhere. You're going to fall down the stairs unless you do a successful coordination check.
I would literally rather be attacked by a zombie than fall down the stairs in the dark. This is actually like every human being's worst nightmare.
So it's going to be a coordination check with a setback because of your threat. And I am going to make it average 2 purple.
Well, you're lucky. Cælum is lucky. He's quite agile. And even if he fails, it's not going to be too bad.
Is Cælum's new nickname Lucky?
We can't do that. That'll be too confusing. All right. I don't know how this happened, but Cælum fell down the stairs in the dark very successfully.
So he tripped down a few stairs but caught himself before hitting the ground below.
Is there like maybe a arm, like a railing
No, there's definitely no railing.
I don't know. It's just being an elf.
The walls are close enough together that he could put 2 arms out and sort of stop himself.
He was very successful.
Okay, so the walls are, they're a heavy brick, like a stone, heavy cut stone. How successful?
3 successes.
Okay, I mean, that's just like, you missed the top 2 steps, caught yourself, and then sort of 1 foot at a time down the rest of the steps.
Okay.
It's very dark here. You could keep your hands on the walls as you walk if you wanted to.
What I want to do is I want to take out my iron spike.
Yeah.
And he takes it out and rubs it with one hand and kind of blows back into it like when he alchemied it into the spike.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to glow just red enough that he can use it as a dull torch to navigate this area.
Okay. Flip your story point.
Okay, it's flipped.
Okay. You did that. There's a dim red glow from your iron spike. So you're able to get a sort of a look around now. This looks like it was freshly carved. There is still dust on the floor where people have carved these passages into the stone of this building. Down at the bottom of the stairs, you come to another juncture where you could go left or you could go straight.
He's always got to go to the left.
Yeah, it looks like the straight would take some stairs up, but you go to the left.
Mm-hmm.
So heading to the left, it looks like the passageway opens up into a large room.
He's gonna approach this large room cautiously.
So the floor.
I'm just gonna say that if somebody wanted to hide this place, it's probably gonna be dangerous, or there's gonna be something that someone does not want me to find.
The floor of this room is slanted towards the center, and it looks like there's a flat portion in the center of the room. Looking at the walls, you see that some of those same symbols from the scrolls carved into them. Looking up, you see a little bit of light coming in through boards that you can assume are the floorboards of the room above you. And in the center of the space, on the flat surface, there's a circle carved into the stone, surrounded by symbols.
I'm gonna take some mental notes of this. This is a lot of stuff. I am in my element. I'm a little overwhelmed. I am going to forget this. This is not okay. Let me take some notes.
You got a notebook.
I do have a notebook. He's gonna take some sketches of this room.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dark. I'm gonna say, most importantly, he's just getting all of the symbols down on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting a very vague layout of the room. And he's gonna kind of finish his sketching at the center of this room, at these circles.
Okay. So you walk into the circle. Do you walk into the circle?
Yep.
In the center of the circle, there's a red stain.
As I suspected, Belmin's blood must have been killed right above this area.
Yep. So the constables probably didn't find this place, and they also did not find the murder weapon.
I don't know if I'm being too presumptuous by assuming that Cælum has figured this out.
I don't know if Cælum has figured this out.
Maybe he hasn't.
Maybe Doug may have figured this out.
Oh. Well, that's the thing, right?
But maybe he hasn't.
Maybe I haven't?
Maybe you haven't.
Oh, well, that's fine. I just don't want to speak for my character. I think I figured it out, but they should not have.
What does Cælum put together?
Oh, well, I don't know if I figured it out. Cælum thinks that this is some kind of occult summoning circle where blood is required to perform an action. That's his assumption. That's all he can assume.
It seems like a decent assumption.
He can assume that it is probably related to these symbols, and from the papers he read earlier, somehow connecting to the other place.
Mm-hmm. Give me an easy perception check with a boost.
A success with 4 advantages.
You feel a breeze, but it's very warm for this time of year.
It's freezing cold outside. What could this breeze be? Turns to face the direction of the breeze.
You're facing one of the corners of the room.
The corner. Takes out the amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
Any correlation?
Where do you put the amethyst?
Puts it at the very center of the circle.
You put it at the very center of the circle, and the symbols around the circle glow with a faint, cool light. And in that corner where the breeze seemed to be coming from, you see a jagged crack in that same faint, cool light. And you hear something.
Fascinating. It's very spooky. I want to do something that might be like too, might just derive from the narrative way too much, and might take too long. So if so, you can like just cut this out.
Okay.
And I'll just do it later. What I want to do, because I want to like alchemy. I want to alchemy craft something right now.
Okay. What do you want to do?
This might not be a good time to do it.
What is it that you want to make?
I want to combine my iron spike, my dagger, and the amethyst into making like a iron short sword amethyst compass.
Okay, that sounds cool. Let's do it.
It's cool, but is this a good time?
Sure. Let's. Where would you set up to do something like this?
I want to do it right at the center of the circle.
Okay.
So it seems like a place of power.
Do you have your alchemy tools with you?
No.
Okay.
What are my alchemy tools? Would be my alchemy kit.
Yeah, your kit.
Let me just look at my kit. If it's something I could put in a pouch, then I have it. It's just alchemist kit.
It's an impressive array of specialized tools to craft their potions and elixirs.
That sounds like something I probably would not have.
Portable kit, flasks. Yeah, their alchemy is specifically potions. Flasks, measuring cups, pouches.
I'm going to say that this is probably something I would need help to do.
You can try it.
Okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try and do it as simply and directly as possible.
I'm still going to make it a hard check.
Okay, let's just see how well I do.
Hard check with an upgrade for I'll point flip. So 2 purples and a red.
Okay. Alchemy is going to be 2 yellow. Can I get a boost for doing this in a place of magical, kind of like magical? It's kinetically magical.
Sure.
Things want to change in this place.
They do.
Cool. Okay. I don't really know what we're gonna do with it.
What do you got?
A failure and a triumph. Complicated storytelling.
Okay.
I failed, but something good happened. Something big happened.
So the amethyst crystal was not similar enough to the other 2 items to transmogrify. Transmute? I like transmogrify. So the amethyst crystal was not similar enough to the other items for you to successfully combine them in these circumstances. What do you want to do with a triumph?
I want to say that I did combine the other 2 objects.
So you have a longer iron dagger.
Yes, which is better than a iron spike and a dagger.
So you've got like a short sword now, made out of iron. Mix of iron and steel.
Let's say it's like, what, like
it's
12
like
inches?
2 feet?
16 inches?
No, I'd go with like somewhere between 16 and 24 inches.
Okay.
Sorry, listeners from not America.
Pause. We're going to pause and we're going to figure out what the equivalent is. And what is it?
It's like a half a meter long.
Cool. Okay. Remind me at the end to ask you if there's an increase in damage.
Oh, there will be.
Okay.
Okay. So that was just a failure. You didn't get like a despair or anything.
No.
Okay.
Just a failure.
All right.
So I put the amethyst back in my pocket.
Okay. The symbols and that crack are still glowing. You are hearing this strange whisper saying your name, saying to open it up, open it wider, let me in.
So he is spooked by this, but wants to approach the doorway to investigate, or the crack, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have his short iron sword drawn, kind of pointed towards it as he approaches, in case, I don't know, he doesn't know what to expect.
As you get your short iron sword closer to this crack, you're sort of walking around it a little bit, and when you walk to the left, it sort of disappears. And when you walk to the right, it sort of disappears. You can only see it from that one angle that you're standing at. And as you get closer, the cool light from it, when you get the iron near it, it warms up, and it warms with like an orange-red glow instead of a light blue glow.
He's gonna touch the blade to the ground next to the cracks.
The crack next to where you put the blade glows warm.
Interesting. What'll happen if I touch the crack directly with this? And he tries it.
From what direction?
Like straight down.
So straight in?
Just like a tiny bit.
There is a little fizzle of sparks, and it seems like your blade goes right in.
Huh.
You don't see it on the other side of it.
He tries to turn, just like wiggle it at all if it's down inside of this crack.
You can move it around, yeah. There's some little bit of elasticity to the crack.
This defies logic in many, many ways. So the crack is related to the circle and to the death of Belmin. I can clearly deduce this. What is the crack? Can you describe the shape of the crack as a whole?
It's like a jagged lightning bolt.
He opens up the notebook, turns to a random page that is the symbol of the doorway with the lightning bolt.
It's similar.
Could this be the doorway? It just looks like a crack. He's a scientific, inquiring mind. He needs to go closer and inspect deeper into this.
Mm-hmm. How much closer?
He keeps walking. He's walking over areas illuminated by the crack.
So he's just near it still. He's
I
not
think he's
walking in it.
I think he's walking like pretty much right into it with his blade drawn in front of him.
You get the blade into the handle. There are little sparks shooting around it. As the length of the blade gets in there, the whole thing is glowing warm.
He pulls the blade out, inspects the blade.
It's solid. Looks exactly the same.
Is it big enough for a person to fit into?
Probably.
All right. He's going to put a hand inside of it.
He does it.
Pulls it out.
It's still a hand. Feels no different.
Well, see you later. And he's going to go straight into it.
Cælum walks into the crack, blade first. It's glowing orange. And walks straight through into an enormous field. Acres and acres and acres of wildflowers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Otherplace.
The Otherplace is a production of Nightcast Creative. For more information on this and our other shows, visit nightcastcreative.com.
For updates on future episodes and bonus content, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at OtherplacePod.
Looking to support the show? Leave us a review on your favorite podcatcher or visit us at patreon.com/Coruscant Nights.